I want to bring in Congressman Lloyd Doggett now. He was the first sitting Democratic member of Congress to publicly call on the president to step aside. Congressman, thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Lester.
You have not, unlike many of your colleagues, have not endorsed Vice President Harris. Do you intend to, or someone else?
Well, Lester, from the very moment almost 3 weeks ago that I called on President Biden to step aside, I called for a fair, open democratic process to select a replacement. Now, I think Vice President Harris would be an excellent nominee. She is the probable nominee. She has all the advantages. But I want this process to be open. It doesn't have to be decided within a matter of minutes or hours of President Biden's decision. We need to engage the entire country in this. That will make our nominee stronger if we have an open process. Some may call this chaotic. I call it democratic with a small d, and I think that's what people want.
Yeah, I was curious if it's the same as craziness, or I'm sorry, craziness is what I'm looking for, but messiness, I'm sorry.
Messy it will be. We're
Does
Democrats.
open mean, I'll get this question out eventually, does open mean messy?
Well, it does, and it means contentious, but as long as it's respectful disagreement, so much the better. As I said, I think Vice President Harris is the probable candidate, the likely one, and many of my colleagues and groups have been stampeding this afternoon to join her. I think that a number of the people that might have contested the nomination have already endorsed her, so I think it's headed that way. But let's keep the process open enough that anyone who thinks they can make a strong case that they're the best candidate to prevent Donald Trump and his gang from taking over our government and maybe never giving it back, that they have a chance also. If we have that process and Vice President Harris is selected, she'll be all the stronger for it. The virtual process, I must say, I don't believe is a good way to do this. We need this to be open, not through some virtual advance process as the DNC had originally proposed.
So what does that look like when we get to the convention then?
It looks like some of the conventions of old where you had multiple candidates competing. Or in Vice President Harris's case, it could well be that her strong efforts eliminate most of the competition prior to that time. But it is a process where America sees that we're different than the Republicans, that we're offering a candidate for a new generation, that Donald Trump will be the old guy in this, that if it's Vice President Harris, she's a prosecutor who's fought crime. Donald Trump is someone who has committed crime.
You sort of led this movement. Have you had a desire? Do you plan to reach out to President Biden? Anything you would want to share with him?
Well, I would say that I greatly admire his courage. He did what Donald Trump could never do, and that is to put country over his ego. His legacy will be that he did everything he possibly could, including sacrificing his own future in order to save our country from someone who wants to move us in an authoritarian direction.
Have you thought about
admire him.
I'm sorry, please.
No, I admire him and appreciate his accomplishments and the sacrifice that he's made.
Do you concern yourself? Do you think about the fact if you were wrong, if this does not help defeat Donald Trump, what that means to you, the party, going forward?
Well, certainly that's always a consideration, but I looked at the numbers, hoping that after a year on your newscast and others that we saw the president behind in this, and then in this debate that instead of a surge, we got a setback, that the numbers in one battleground state after another showed us going the wrong way. And based on those numbers, I think we have a stronger nominee without President Biden on the ballot, and I'm glad he finally reached the same conclusion.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.